Guess what? All you need to make a movie is a girl and a gun. The saying is so famous that a bunch of men, all well-known artists, insist on claiming the rights on it. Among them, David Griffith, one of the founders of narrative film, as well as acclaimed French director Jean-Luc Godard. Quotes from the great authors are inspiring and guide the future generation. They read this statement correctly, but they often get it wrong. Like almost any other profession, the film is taught differently in school and somehow works differently in the industry. Being engaged as professor in the school as well as the director in the industry, I have noticed these differences, and I was working for a long time to see how I can approximate them. Since we work with the small groups in our university, we get to know students from close, and we know them very well, including their characters and personality. My goal as professor is to bring out individualities rather than a series of film directors who will replicate the work of previous generations. I first noticed that students lacked space to express themselves. It is paradoxical to say, but they are often unaware of this. The finding that students lacked their freedom of creative expression was precisely in the absence of what I would call professional limitation. If Griffith and Godard suggested the limitation of two, if I may say, elements, of a girl and a gun to make a film, the students' creativity was overflowing with the infinite freedom they had in search of ideas. Therefore, they were lost in freedom. The most crucial phase of the semester is the discussion of ideas for the next film. This was the ideal moment to start with the reform. To orient their focus, I had to violate a bit of their freedom that was stifling their creativity. We started with several brainstorming sessions. When individuals are in creative mode, ideas come spontaneously. They are like raw materials and are easy to process in the later stages. Students tend to believe that painting or photograph or any other artistic work, to be meaningful, must be loaded with elements, so the idea, form, and composition work. Exploring paintings through the five senses helps students unleash their imagination. Consequently, the little hidden ideas we seek come more easily to be later converted into movies. Let's assume that the students are exploring this picture that we have behind. I'll mention some facts that might be of benefits to the general public. In museums such as Louvre, the Vatican, the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA in New York, or art galleries such as Tate Modern in London, offer the works of the most prominent artists in history. Millions of people visit them within a year. According to various studies, visitors spend about 27 seconds looking at the work of art. Even in recent years, with the advancement of technology, this time has been shortened to 20 seconds. Often a selfie with a picture in the background or the painting in the background is enough for most of the visitors. What a shame. An artwork takes its complete form, not when the author finishes it, but when it interacts with the audience. Art happens when the artist's idea and the experience and the audience's experience are engaged. or exchanged. There can be no art without the audience. All of you have fresh memories from the pandemic time. What happened with the theaters, what happened with the cinema, with the museums and art galleries. When you ask an artist about her painting, you usually get a very emotional description. The artist explains her painting as it is a multimedia project. For example, a ship that shakes in salty water, with dead soldiers and the smell of blood, the sound of thunder, pieces of wood that pierce your hands, and the red sun in the background as a hope for a better tomorrow. This can be an approximate description. The idea described with the same passion and energy is converted in two-dimensional painting. To get the best out of the artwork, it must be experienced similarly as the author describes. Our five senses, sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell, play a crucial role in creative thinking process, influencing the increasing in the quality of your artistic expression. Let's bring back the picture with the white wall. I'll bring this as I remember when it happened. One of the students found that he sees a black dot in the white wall, which is most likely a fly. A fly playing the piano, said the other one, if it is an old joke and stuff, but it still worked at that moment. The other one interjected, I'm listening to music. The comments continued with the touch of the piano keyboard, the smell of the fly sweat, the cold of long, snowy winter, and the brick wall that reminded them to the school's wall. This description that exceeded the factual content of the photo. In the unlimited freedom they had before, it took only a few seconds, maybe even less, for the student to realize that the photograph had no artistic values. But in my advice, to explore it using their five senses, they got a new experience. Using similar techniques, we have improved our film's quality yearly in our school. To get the best out of your creativity, you should set yourself some limits and find a way out. The more complex the constraints are, the more creative the solutions will be. You can test and retest your ideas in this form until you reach your limits. If we deny ourselves the inferior version of idea, a better version will present itself later. A photograph with a white wall can be converted into a work of art that can be explored and discussed for hours. This helps significantly in raising the quality of expression and creativity of individuals. Imagine exploring with five senses works like Mona Lisa, or the well-known paintings, The Wedding of Cana, in Cana, and Liberty Leading the People. All these are some of the major artwork of Louvre. Ask yourself strange question. What about strange question about what you see, which exceeds the accurate content of the painting? And indeed, the hidden ideas do not have to be within the artwork you are exploring. They are hidden somewhere deeper in your memory and in your imagination. I'll give you a few moments to see these photos using your five senses. You will stimulate new ideas through sight by analyzing shapes, colors, lighting, and other elements. Through listening, you can unleash your imagination by creating sounds that make experience the elements you see inside the artwork. This can bring memories from similar environments, thus creating an imaginative connection between what you see and what you hear. Smell can bring back memories from different stages of life. In this way, you can evoke forgotten moments and advance your creative thinking through them. Likewise, you can increase your creativity and the need to explore further by using your sense of taste. When taste is paired with the visuals, they can enhance your creative process. Taste also evokes emotions, memories, and cultural connections that can depth to your imagination. The sense of touch can help you recall similar experiences of things you have touched once. The feeling of touching the figures, shapes, and other elements in the image can remind you of rich sensory experience from the past. By including all the senses, when you look at a painting, a photograph, or any other image, you can create art on the art of the others. This approach encourages your brain to make connection between the information produced by the combination of different senses, offering a unique perspective, imaginative ideas, and new ways to express your creativity. Art is the most finest form of expression. There is an artist in every one of you. I started my last film when I found a lost photo of myself as a child in the early 90s. And it ended up in Netflix. Typically, this path is much longer than a sentence, but the beginning is the most essential part of the work. What would happen if I would skip this particular photo of me? Unfortunately, people do that all the time. To conclude, let's go back to the beginning of the speech and the famous saying, all you need to make a movie is a girl and a gun. I would have made only a tiny change in this statement. I would have taken the lady behind the camera to guarantee the project's success. A quote by Alfonso de Lamartine, his very well-known quote, says, "There is a woman at the beginning of all great things." Be a woman. Thank you. Falimderit.